Hello Libra, welcome to the Plaid Sheep Oracle. Oh, your reading is very interesting. We start with resentment from the deck I made for myself. That's kind of a mixture of magical concepts and practices, and also sort of shadowy aspects like resentment. Now, interestingly, I don't know if you can hear it because my window is mostly closed, but there's a small child wailing outside. And he or she began just as I started this reading. And I want to say that this is not resentment of any particular person or something that you've been, that's something that somebody did, like specifically. This feels like a kind of general resentment towards society, towards life. And maybe you don't even know you have it. We are here in the United States in Thanksgiving Day weekend. And like all of these really family-related holidays that we have, it can bring up this shadowy stuff. So we start here with this King of Cups who's drinking his cup, and you are right beneath him, Queen of Swords, and you are it's like you are watching him and are kind of disgusted, is the word I want to use. There's something here about other people's exuberance, I want to say, that really gets under your skin. Right? There's this Nine of Wands. Like you have you've been doing all the things. You have been, possibly following all the rules, or, making sure always that everything is fair. Maybe you've been taking on emotional burdens within your family, if this is a family-related thing. Taking care of all the stuff. And then we have this Ace of Swords, and what this feels like, actually, is that the sword is stuck, right? That it's being held down by all of these vines, so that it's like you can't enter into the new space, into this new vision, if you're being held in place by these resentments. And with the Page of Wands coming next, right, in this particular vision, I want to say that this, absolutely has to do with childhood, how you have been since you were a child. You know, and it could be anything, you know, maybe you were the oldest, and so you took on extra responsibility in that way. Maybe some of it was given to you. You know, I think our environments are absolutely important, and sometimes we do get given responsibility. But sometimes we also take stuff on kind of a priori, right? Before we even know, we're kind of putting up defenses that we might not even actually need. Right? We can take on more responsibility than we actually really need to. That it's a dance that we end up in with the people around us. And so we have this particular tower, which is not about destruction, but about confusion here with this Escher tower, right? Stairs leading to nowhere, confusion. You know, maybe the stairs even move around. So you don't know where you are or where you're going. It's a maze. You keep trying to get out and you can't. And the reason, maybe, that you can't is because of this resentment, right? It's hard to embrace your own joy, your own spontaneity, your own expansion if you are kind of holding on to this resentment of other people's expansion. You know, one kind of has this vision, right, of the curmudgeon who, you know, gets grumpy when he sees children at play. And, you know, when he sees them at play anywhere. You know, not just that they're tearing up his lawn, but that right, if you don't allow these things for yourself, if you don't allow your own joy, your own exuberance, your own spontaneity, your own, you know, occasionally throwing all caution to the wind, or, you know, just really releasing joy in a kind of a public way, then it's going to be really painful when you see other people do it. So perhaps you've been carrying some sort of resentment of other people's happiness, I want to say. When it's really openly expressed. And then maybe it has roots in your childhood when you feel like maybe other people, right, got what they wanted at your expense. And you might, you know, as, right, Libra being interested in justice, in harmony, you might also be concerned that people are, you know, having things at the expense of other people. Maybe not even just you, but, right, other people in general. So if someone, you know, or if you're, you know, looking around at the world and you really focus on, you know, how that person's success may have been created, you know, on the backs of other people. And maybe you even just assume that that's true whenever you see it. That there's something, right, like other people's success and joy is going to create a mess that other people will have to clean up, and you're going to be one of them. And if that's the energy that you're carrying around, then it's probably going to end up being true. Right? You know, you may be attracted to people whose success does create a mess. But something is now arriving that is going to break this up. And I don't know what it is. It could be astrologically, right? The South Node is moving through Libra, clearing, right? Showing us things that we're hanging on to from the past, especially when it has to do with relationships and other people. So I don't know, right? That is an astrological aspect. But it could be something else. It could be some particular transit that you're having. But whatever it is coming in. I want to say like a freight train, right? This Aries Emperor Ram just rushing in. Right? You can hear his progress. And right beneath him is this other tower. This other tower. And beneath that, the first appearance of the Two of Swords, the Two of Air. This choice point. Now, is there? Oh, yes. And actually, here, I will show you. At the bottom of this deck is the Ten of Pentacles, right? Success. That's lurking right underneath. And then at the bottom of this deck is the first appearance of Justice. Your card. So far, the really hidden aspect is success and you. As you are, your full self. So whatever this Emperor represents, might be a person. I don't know, it might be this reading. I don't know, if you read this and go, oh my God, yes, I've been doing that. I didn't even know. I didn't know I was yelling at people to get off my lawn somewhere in my mind all the time. Could be a person, could be you witnessing this happening with some other person. But whatever it is, it's going to help you break out. 8 of Air, 8 of Swords. That is part of its purpose. To help you break out of this line of thinking that may be hidden And then we get the Hierophant. As above, so below, as within, so without. And infinity. Authority, sovereignty, understanding. Also with this infinity and this sort of cosmic view, the ability to see things from a bigger perspective. The ability to see all the different moving parts. The ability to see how your own energy and how you think about things changes. Not just your own situation, but sometimes, right, the group dynamic. And then we get the Chariot. Movement ahead. And here, with these two dogs, right, and, you know, this cosmic trail above them. Coming into alignment with your own wider self. Your wider self does not harbor resentments. Your wider self understands the power of energy and mindset and beliefs and the ability for things to change on a dime in the universe. And the ability to, with the Cancerness of this card, to hold others. You know, this King of Cups, right, is associated with Scorpio. So there is that whole, right, there's societal stuff there too about taboos. You know, how much enjoyment you're supposed to show. How much pride, perhaps, you're supposed to take in something. So, King of Swords. A much greater sense of clarity. And here with the High Priestess underneath, again, this ability to see the bigger picture, to see clearer forward, for your intuition to start really working, for you to really be in touch with it. Because this resentment is going to, right, it gunks up the works. If you, right, if you harbor kind of the feelings towards other people's success, then you're going to put obstacles in your own way so you don't become one of those people. Right? The last thing you want to be, if you feel that way, is one of those, you know, prideful, overly expansive, someone who takes more than their share kind of person. And again, at the bottom of this deck is Justice. So you're under there, Libra. You're underneath this gunk that you've been carrying around. Right here, this particular Two of Cups. Right? She looks doubtful. Should she take it? What if it's too much? Is it more than she's supposed to have? What if somebody else loses out because she takes it? What if somebody suffers because she has it? What if she becomes one of those people who just walks around happy all the time? Right? What if she walks around being one of those people who isn't constantly concerned about their effect on others. Right? Can you see now how this is a prison? How this is just, right? It's really just causing you pain. All right, Nine of Wands again. This time dropping into the fire. How many times do you burn yourself up over and over? How many times do you correct yourself because, you've theoretically done something you shouldn't have, you've taken something from someone? Do you almost live vicariously through other people's sins? Do you take them on to yourself? The King of Wands wants you to put an end to that. He's waiting. Right, we have this, right, Leo and Aquarius pairing here of kings. All right, the other air-fire axis. The ability to be personally successful, personally proud, personally magnetic, personally amazing, while also wanting the very best and doing the very best for others. Seeing how your own joy, your own happiness, your own ability to be proud of yourself has a ripple effect through the community. Right? Humankind. You're not going to make anything better for anybody else by squashing yourself, by being resentful, because you haven't allowed this for yourself. Right? Because that's really where the resentment comes from. And I have absolutely experienced this. This is not a judgment, Libra. Right? We do this. I knew someone who was just really relaxed. Right? He didn't feel the need to immediately answer emails. He made sure that he got to do the really fun things that he enjoyed doing. He didn't commit himself to things. He didn't make himself responsible for everybody else's behavior. And I had resentment around that. And I realized one day that it's because I was actually envious. I wanted to be able to do that. To feel that free, to not chain myself to my responsibilities. At the bottom of this deck, we have Swelginess of the past, right? That whirlpool of the past, the Charybdis of the past. Algaes. Elks, protection. you know, this card is about right, it's about protection, but it's also about, it's about standing your ground. It's about vocalizing what it is that you want, right? It's kind of creating your own protection by being honest and open about what it is that you want. And with this ice gripped card, up until this point, you have been, right, you've been frozen. This Ace of Swords has been stuck in the ground. If you've been feeling like whatever projects you have, whatever change you want to make, you know, the affluence, the abundance, the expansion of your life, right? It may be this hidden resentment. Because then we have the Erdmagen, your earthly power. It's here. You have it simply by virtue, right, of being here. As long as you don't block it. So what's the advice? We'll hold that for a second. Underneath him, well, at the bottom of the deck we have wealth. Again, the Ten of Pentacles reappearing at the bottom. Oh, and pleasure next to that. And fortune next to that. And then here we have the Nine of Pentacles, gain, and the Ace of Wands. And then the Princess of Wands, who is this page. But now, rather than having to remain still, stuck in the past of childhood, right, she is dynamic. And then below her is this Emperor. And then we have the Knight of Swords, who in this deck sits in the King's position. Though he is associated with Gemini in this deck. Go. Right? Pay attention. What is it that you really want? What is it you really want to go for? How have you been stopping yourself? Not actively, but through what may be hidden resentments. Two of Swords, peace. Finding a way to make peace with what happened in your past and in your childhood. However you do that for yourself. You can remember that everything that happened to you created some skill, some experience, some aspect of who you are, gave you knowledge. Right? You can look back and see all the times that you didn't allow anything to stop you, and how did that work out? Remembering that all those people in your childhood who maybe made you feel this way had their own crap. However it is, you make peace with the past. And then there's the Empress, Venus. Right? She does not resent other people's success. She focuses on creation, on those things that are life. What is life-giving? What is life-expanding? Serve the life force within yourself and without. And then there's this great Five of Wands, which says strife, but I always see that central wand as being like the Ace of Wands. That conflict, and sometimes even chaos, stuff going down, can result in a whole new thing, in ways that you could not even anticipate, that you do not have the vision to see. And I think that this also has something to do with this galloping, roaring emperor who's coming through. That maybe there is some sort of something, some Five of Wandsy thing, right? And actually, right, the tower is below the emperor, right? That there's going to be something that breaks this open for you, and you see this wand, maybe for the first time. And then how this wand can be made to flower. Right, how this strife can turn into all of this Eight of Pentacles growth. So I actually, I asked for some extra clarification of this card before I began. And what I got was these three cards. And so there you are, again, as the Queen. This time making the choice to step into this new world. Right? To make the choice, to make the peace with the past. To release this resentment. So that you're not stuck in this painful place where other people's exuberance is, right, is like nails on a chalkboard for you. It is absolutely possible to be expansive and exuberant and happy and joyful and excited and proud without that, causing mass suffering. Right? That joyful, heart-based, life force expanding energy. So Libra, if you have been carrying this around, and maybe you've only been carrying it around in some aspect of your life, right? It could just be at work, or it could be, in the family sphere. However, socially, perhaps. However it is, I hope that you find, right, that you find a way to make peace, to release it, to see, to take whatever is useful from it and then let it go. And move into this expansive space. So I wish you all the very best, Libra. And I will see you next time. So long.